Today, we're doing something I never thought I'd be doing again. We're jumping back into Apex Legends. If you've been watching the channel, you know my brain thrives on pure, unadulterated chaos. Call of Duty, the finals, games where things explode, buildings collapse, and fights end in 2 seconds. So when I started thinking about games I used to play back in the day, Apex popped into my head. And then I realized something crazy. I haven't touched this game in basically 6 years. 2020 was the last time, I think. That's long enough for an entire generation of players to grow up, install Apex, and hit Apex Predator rank without ever knowing I used to play it. So today, I want to answer one simple question. What happens when a modern COD and the finals player returns to Apex Legends after a 6-year hiatus? Will my muscle memory save me? Or am I going to be completely humiliated? Let's find out. I'll link some of the products I use and some other recommended ones down below in my description if you want to check it out. The first thing that hit me wasn't the gameplay. It was the pure nostalgia, the lobby music, the shield battery sounds, the weapons. It's wild how gaming works. You can go half a decade without touching a title, but the second you boot it up, your brain instantly unlocks memories you forgot existed. I immediately remembered why we all fell in love with this game when it dropped back then. It felt fresh. The gunplay was crisp. The movement was top tier. The character abilities changed the genre. But man, 6 years is an eternity in live service gaming. The game has changed. The player base has evolved, and honestly, I've changed too. The moment I dropped into a live match, the very first thing that slapped me in the face was the pacing. And I'm just gonna say it. It felt slow. Now before the Apex community lights up my comment section, hear me out. I'm not saying Apex is a slow game. I'm saying it feels slower compared to the absolute crackhead energy I'm used to. In Call of Duty, it's instant gratification. You spawn, you slide cancel, you shoot, you die, you repeat. In the finals, a sledgehammer wielding heavy is literally leveling the skyscraper you're standing in, while someone else launches across the skyline. It's total loud, controlled chaos. Coming back to Apex was a massive adjustment. Fights aren't over in a split second. It's actual breathing room. There's macro strategy, high ground positioning, and you actually have to track your targets through an insane amount of health and shields. My COD brain kept telling me enemies should be dead after 4 bullets, only for them to pop a battery and completely turn the fight around on me. It took me a minute to realize I couldn't just play this like a mindless Twitch shooter. Because of that, I actually spent most of my time away from the Battle Royale mode, hiding out in Team Deathmatch and Gun Run. And honestly, it was the best decision I could have made. When you haven't played a game in 6 years, absolute last thing you want to do is spend 15 minutes looting an empty map just to get instantly sent back to the lobby by a 3-stack team of sweats. TDM let me skip the lines and jump straight into the action. No pressure, no long setups, just instant gunfights to help me dust off the rust. And then I queued into Gun Run, which was absolute blast. Anyone who doesn't know, Gun Run forces you to cycle through different weapons with every kill. For a returning player, this was the ultimate baptism by fire. I was forced to use everything. Some guns felt like old friends, some felt completely reworked, and some weapons made me question if I'd ever picked up a controller in my life. But it forced me to adapt, and before I knew it, something crazy started happening. I was actually starting to hit my shots. Look, my movement definitely wasn't anything spectacular. In my head, I remember being absolute movement god back in 2020. Maybe not, but reality quickly stepped in and reminded me that I'm in fact incredibly rusty. But once I stopped comparing Apex to the finals and stopped trying to play it like Call of Duty, I started having a ridiculous amount of fun. The movement engine in this game still has its own beautiful, incredibly polished identity. Landing a slide jump, tracking a target smoothly through their shield, actually winning a prolonged gunfight feels deeply rewarding. It doesn't feel cheap, it feels earned. I had enough good moments during the session to trigger that classic dangerous gamer sickness. Alright, just one more match, and suddenly, it's 2 hours later. So what's the final verdict? I came into this fully expecting to play for 1 hour, get frustrated, and remember why I uninstalled this half a decade ago. Instead, the exact opposite happened. I found myself wanting to keep playing, wanting to learn the new maps, and wanting to see what else I've missed. Apex absolutely earned its spot back on my hard drive. But yeah, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.